I mean, I don't know if anyone else has like thoughts on conformity, but I've always had a tough time supporting it because I don't know. I've seen the worst of conformity when people's voices are stifled in high school. In a setting of conformity, specifically in regards to behavior, right? Oftentimes it's biased towards one type of character, right? Oh, generally you want to be quiet and non-disruptive, but sometimes having a disruptive class, however you may want to interpret that, may be effective when it comes to like however you design your classroom. But I don't know. I was fortunate enough, I think, to have had teachers, specifically high school, to not really embrace conformity too much and to allow for a little bit of expressiveness that, of course, occasionally snowballs into a transgression, but uh, more or less, I think the benefits are there. But I think the great thing about Harvard is that there is no such thing as conformity here. I mean, not a single ounce. You can't find a gram of conformity here, which is just why it's so beautiful. But I don't know. Hot topics. Oh, sorry. Hot takes on conformity. Maybe it's a good thing in some regards. I may be missing a few things regarding that. Like I've heard, for instance, the argument that like ultimately society is all about conformity. So schools are meant to replicate that, like workforce, right? You don't want to interrupt your boss or whatever. I don't know about that, but I'm curious your thoughts as well.
John, do you want to go first?
Oh yeah, I guess something that I think more of an example. When I think about conformity, I think more of an example, I guess, in my personal life than any, I guess, deeper opinion on it. I consider myself to be to an extent a conformist just because I have difficulty with repercussions of not following that kind of mindset. But like at least back in my high school, I know there was a huge issue, kind of similar to what Leah was talking about. At our graduation ceremony, there was a huge push by the students to where uh, it was, I believe, if I'm mistaken, I apologize to all the affected parties, but I think there was this idea of wearing sashes that represented their ethnic background, specifically students of color, and this brought up a huge debate with the administration and the school board about just not letting them do it. And there was this reasoning, just why, like why can't you wear it? Oh, because it would change how the graduating class looks when they march across the stage. And I think going that far to sacrifice self-expression and identity for the idea of conformity, that's too far. And this was
Mm,
really just a battle with administration. A lot of the teachers supported it. Almost all the students supported it. So this was just kind of, I guess, just a relevant topic about where conformity, I guess, where the line needs to be drawn.
yeah, I
Yeah, I mean,
agree.
I would totally agree. I think with what everyone has said that especially in an educational arena and institution, diversity should be fostered and facilitated because I think all of us are unique and different in our own way, and I think that we should be encouraged to explore that uniqueness, and that should absolutely be almost empowered. Uh, but then obviously on the opposite end, being reasonable that there are some like standards. I won't use standards, but I mean to what David was saying earlier in terms of like transgressions, there's certainly some lines that obviously in behavior, for example, that one wouldn't need to cross. But in terms of the creativity and just exploration of all these arenas, I think that the world's smartest thinkers, um, you know, were people who decided to take that risk and really explore something. And I always kind of wonder that maybe there is somebody out there in a very disadvantaged situation who has that kind of potential, but it just hasn't been properly facilitated. And I know, David, you've talked about that in previous podcasts as well, that that's where the importance of education comes in, empowering students to reach that kind of level. But I mean, all I can say, to David's earlier point is that I think I'm very lucky, and I think we're all very lucky that we're at an institution like Harvard where every student is unique in their own way. And so we comprise this diverse class that comes from many different backgrounds, interests, ideologies, cultures, races, etc. Yet we're united we are in a sense united by our diversity, and that's something that I think this podcast is all about. That we're so lucky that every week we're able to have on guests who come from these different backgrounds, and we can share that with our audiences.